Hello, I'm Darren Alf from BicycleTouringPro.com, and this is my CoMotion Cycles Pangea touring bicycle. This is the bike that I just rode for 3 months across Ecuador and Colombia in South America. Because I just completed my trip, I thought it would be fun and interesting to look at the bike I rode, the gear that I used, and dissect which items I used on a daily basis, which items I used only frequently, and which items I never used at all, because there were quite a few items that I packed with me on this particular trip that I thought I would use but never actually did. So let's go over the bike really quick. I'll point out some of the interesting things that you need to know. First of all, the bike is, like I said, a CoMotion Pangea touring bicycle. It's made in America. I've had this bike for about 6 years. It's the best bike I've ever owned. And because this bike has 26-inch wheels, it is really the perfect bike to take to South America because it can handle both road riding on paved surfaces or off-road riding, which there was quite a bit on my tour. So that's my bike. On the bike I have 3 water bottles, 1, 2, and 3 down here. You'll notice that this water bottle is just a plastic water bottle that I picked up at a liquor store or something. I lost one of my water bottles somewhere in Ecuador, so I was able to use something like this for the entire duration of the tour, and it worked just fine. I have fenders on the front and rear of my bicycle here, and those are on there to protect my bike and myself from water, grit, dirt, that sort of thing that gets kicked up from the road. I have 2 racks on my bike, one on the front here, a metal rack, and one on the back here. Both of these racks are made in Canada, but by different companies. This one on the front is made by Arkel, and the one on the back is made by a company called Axiom. The panniers, the bags, these blue bags that you see on the bike, they are produced by a company called Ortlib in Germany, and these are, in my opinion, the best bicycle touring panniers in the entire world. I've been using these for years and years and years, and I've used dozens of other companies' panniers, but these are the ones I like the most. The ones on the back, they're bigger than the ones on the front. Those are the Ortlib Bike Packer Plus panniers, and these smaller ones on the front are the Ortlib Sport Packer Plus panniers, and both sets are waterproof. Finally, up here on top is a large handlebar bag where I carry, well, you'll see in just a moment, but this is the Ortlib Ultimate 6 handlebar bag, and like the panniers, it is also waterproof. So that's the entire bike overall, very briefly. Right now I'm going to open up each of these bags so that you can see what I carry inside, and I'll begin with my handlebar bag. So this is my Ortlib Ultimate 6 Plus waterproof handlebar bag, and you'll note that there are 2 small pockets on the side here. This right pocket I carry my chain lube, my multi-tool, and a small mini lighter in case I need to start a fire. And on this side, in this small pocket, is a small folding knife, a tube of chapstick, 2 tire levers, 2 plastic tire levers, and a small patch kit that I use to patch my tubes if I get a flat tire. And there's also some spare rack screws and washers and other parts that I might need for my trip in here. So there's that, and then this is probably the most important part. Inside this main pocket here, I have my DSLR camera, which is my big, more professional style camera. And inside here I also have a multitude of SD cards for storing my photos and videos. And that comes out. Then I have a small point and shoot camera in this pocket on the side. And I use this probably more frequently than any other camera because it's just so easy to grab it even while I'm riding and take a photo or shoot a video. So there's that. Then I have my smartphone in here. This is a Samsung Galaxy S5 Mini smartphone, and I use this for navigation, entertainment, communication, etc. So there's that. And then I also have a small inner tube, spare tube. This is the one and only tube that I carry as a spare, and that goes in there as well. Inside this front pocket I have my wallet, which I use on a daily basis. There is a journal, a small lightweight paper journal. I have, this is my pedal wrench and S&S coupler wrench that I use to take my pedals off or split the frame of my bicycle in half. This is a titanium spork that I use to eat with. I have one pen to write things with. I have another small wrench here, 10mm wrench that I use. This is for my fenders on the front and rear rack of my bike. They have a special 10mm nut, and so I needed to carry this just for that one nut. And then inside this pocket here I have all my loose coins. I'm going to get a few of them out here so you can see, but yeah, so here, loose coins. And that is everything that I carry with me inside of my handlebar bag. Of these things, I use them all on a daily basis, almost. If I had to remove anything, I might remove the paper, the pen, and this 10mm wrench, if I could figure out a way to get rid of this. Everything else, however, is, in my opinion, essential. Maybe I could get rid of the lighter too. Okay, everything there is essential, in my opinion. So now let's take a look at this front left pannier. So here is my front pannier. I'm going to open it for you now. And inside here I only have a few basic things. I have the charger for my drone, which is pretty heavy. It's the only part of the drone that is not stored with the rest of the unit. So I have that. I have my sunglasses case with my sunglasses in it, and obviously when I'm riding, these are on my face. And then inside of the pannier itself, there are really only two things. There's my tent. This is a Big Agnes one-man tent. And I have my sleeping mat. And that's it. That's all that's inside this one particular pannier. Oh, I forgot to mention, also inside this pannier, I was carrying this pack towel. And this particular pack towel, I didn't use a single time on the entire trip. That's why I forgot it was even in there. But there it is, one other thing that I packed and thought I would use on this trip, but never actually did. And now we'll dig into this right front pannier. So my other front pannier here contains a few more items. I have two lenses that I carry in this particular pannier. One that I'm shooting with right now, so it normally goes in here. But, and then I have another lens here, so two lenses for my DSLR camera. Then I have my toiletry kit, which is quite heavy and contains a whole host of various, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, sunscreen, lip balm, razors, and all that kind of stuff. So all of that goes in this one little bag. Then I have my sleeping bag, which is a lightweight summer sleeping bag. And finally, my bike lock. And you'll note that the bike lock was down at the bottom of my bag. And the reason for that is because I barely ever used this lock. I think I used it 2 times in 3 months. And that's simply because most of my trip this year I spent sleeping in hotels. And every hotel I stayed in had a place to put my bike for the most part. I think maybe one hotel did not. But most of the hotels let me bring my bike into the room, or they had some other place in the hotel where it was safe to keep my bike. So really, I didn't really need to carry this. One other thing that I probably did not need on my bike tour in South America this year. Now we'll go to the back side of my bicycle. on the back here, you'll notice that I have my helmet. Now normally I'd be wearing my helmet when I'm on the bike, but when I'm off the bike, I just place it here on top, and I always put it in that same position. On the top of the rear rack, I am carrying a small tripod, which you'll see here in a second. It's bungee corded down so it won't fall off my bike. But this is the tripod that I carry, and this was my first trip ever, a bike trip ever, traveling with this particular tripod. And I like the fact that it was very easy to clip in and off, and because I had it on my rear rack, it was just very easy to get the tripod out. The big disadvantage, however, is that the tripod is really only 1 foot tall. And so a lot of my shots from this bike tour are from the ground, essentially. And I didn't really like that. I mean, I like taller tripods, so they get you up, and you can, there's more versatility with the shots that you can produce. So anyways, I may or may not use this in the future, but I like the fact that it's small, it's lightweight, and it's easy to use. Then, on the rear of the bicycle now, I have 2 large panniers, and this front left one contains all of my drone and my clothing. Yes, I am carrying a drone on my bicycle, so let's see what's inside here now. So this is an interesting pannier. Inside here is my drone and all of my clothing, and there's a few miscellaneous items in this small pocket on the back side here. I'll open this up for you, however, and you can see kind of how I packed everything. Now I had a baseball cap that I wear whenever I'm off the bike, and this was always on the top of the pannier so that when I stepped off the bike at the end of the day, or just to go into a supermarket or something, I could take my helmet off and then immediately put my hat on. So there's a hat. Then I had my USB cable. This is the cable that allows me to charge my cell phone, but it also connects the cell phone to the drone remote controller. So I wanted to have everything with the drone inside this one pannier. And that included the cable. So there's the cable. And then here's my rain jacket. It's just kind of stuffed randomly in there. There's my fleece sweatpants, which again I rarely ever use because it was so hot on this particular trip most of the time. I think I wore these maybe 6 to 10 times on the whole trip. And then here's the remote control for the drone. And you put your cell phone in here, and then you plug this into here, and yeah. But anyways, that's the drone remote controller. It's quite heavy and quite large. This is the DJI Phantom 4 drone. That's the drone I've been carrying with me now for about a year on my bike trips around the world. And all around the drone, so the drone is in here, but you can't quite see it yet. All around the drone, I have stuffed the clothing, all of the clothing that I carried with me on my bike tour. So there's just like a pair of socks. This is my sweatshirt, hooded sweatshirt that I wore for warmth. Here's a t-shirt. This is one of 2 t-shirts that I carried. I had rain pants, which I never wore once, so I'm going to put that in my never pile over there. Here are the propellers for the drone, and there are 8 of them in here, and I just kind of kept this bag loose in the bottom of my pannier. I wish that this bag were which were used like a bright orange or yellow fabric or something, because as you can see it blends in with a lot of the other items that I have, and I think it would be very easy to lose this. So there's that. I'm just going to keep that here. Again, there's more clothes, underwear here. This is a pair of lightweight shorts that I brought, and I'm glad I did. I use them every day. But these are from Fox Racing, and these are shorts that are made to be cycled in. These are mountain bike shorts, but I wore them every day off of the bike, just as my lightweight pair of shorts to walk around town in. So there were those. Another pair of socks. Again, like I said, I just kind of stuffed all the clothes in here. No folding or anything, just stuffed. So this is the one and only short sleeve jersey that I brought on my bike tour in South America. It's not a cycling jersey, it's just like a generic Nike athletic jersey, and I liked it. It's good. More socks. I had 4 pairs of socks on this trip that I rotated between. And I brought this jersey. This is a Fox Racing long sleeve jersey, which I never needed, and I could have left this at home, or I could have brought another short sleeve jersey perhaps. It was just so hot in South America that I think I wore this twice maybe. And even on those days I didn't need it. I just kind of wore it because I had it. So, long sleeve jersey. Another pair of underwear. I had 3 pairs of underwear that I was rotating between. And then finally, well, there's other stuff in here, but finally, once you take all of that out, you can get to the drone. So this is the DJI Phantom 4 drone with the battery here, which is the heaviest part. And and one of the ways that I was able to carry this drone safely was I went to the local hardware store and I bought these 4 small plastic caps, which are actually designed to go on the bottom of a chair, but they fit perfectly over the top of the motors here on the DJI Phantom 4 drone. And the drone has these little plastic parts right at the tip of the motor, and so I put these over there just to protect that part from all the bumps and rattles that occur to this pannier while I'm cycling. So yeah, it worked perfectly. And there's a plastic brace down here on the gimbal for the camera, and that's very important. If you were to lose this, I think you could very quickly destroy the whole drone just from having it on your bike for such an extended period of time and being susceptible to all those bumps that happen when you ride a bike. So anyways, there's the drone. And finally, down at the bottom, I have a pair of lightweight kind of jeans, I guess, but black pants. They're just black pants that I could wear off of the bike. And again, I barely ever wore these. I did not need to bring them on this particular trip. I could have just worn shorts the entire time because it was so hot. So I'm going to put that over in this never used pile. Finally, there's a small pocket. I'm pushing everything out of the way. There's a small pocket here on the outside of the pannier, and I had brought a pant leg protector on this particular trip because I thought maybe I'll be cycling a lot in the rain and I would need to wear my rain pants, and then this pant leg protector makes it so that your pant leg doesn't get stuck in the chain of your bike. I brought this and I never used it. And then the last thing in here is this small rear bike light, which goes on the back of my bicycle. And like on so many bike tours I've done in the past, I carried this thing for the entire time, just in case, but never actually used it. And finally, this rear right pannier has my backpack, computer, hard drive, electronics, and food all inside of here. So we're going to open this one now. Alright, so the last pannier on my bicycle now contained most of my electronics. And I carried everything for the most part inside of this backpack. So there's a backpack inside the pannier, and there's nothing else in here at the moment. But when I was on the tour, I had food and food essentially, packed all around inside the pannier. So whatever food I happen to be carrying, trail mix, nuts, bananas, apples, that kind of stuff would all be packed in here as well. So there's the backpack, and inside this rear zippered pocket on the backpack, I carry my laptop. And the laptop, it's not in here at the moment, but this is the laptop case. So it's a padded laptop case. I got this from REI several years ago, and the laptop goes in here, and then the case goes inside the backpack. So all of that is done in order to protect the laptop from the vibrations of the road. And then inside this zippered pocket here, I am carrying my passport, and I was also carrying a couple of these little fuzzy camera things. These are to block out the wind noise on your camera. So I carried a few of these just in case the ones that were on my camera now happened to fall off. And I did use one spare of this on the entire trip. But anyways, so there's my passport and my computer, and that goes back inside the backpack. Then on this outer pocket here, I was carrying my external hard drive. I have a 1 terabyte external hard drive here. I have spare batteries for my various cameras, so that's from a battery for my DSLR camera, and then I had 4 spare batteries for my point and shoot camera, which is the one I use most often. What else do we got in here? So that's all that was in there. In this tiny little pocket here, I was carrying my headphones. I had another tube of chapstick. You'll remember that I had one in my handlebar bag and I have another one here. And the reason I carry 2 is just so I don't have to constantly be moving the chapstick from here to the handlebar bag. The handlebar bag is my chapstick for when I'm on the bike, and the backpack is where I keep the chapstick for when I'm off of the bike and walking around town. So there's that, and then I also carried other coins and stuff in here, but there aren't any in there at the moment. And then inside the main pocket here, I would carry my charger for my computer. I carried this universal power converter adapter thing so that I could plug my computer and phone and all that kind of stuff into the wall. Now in Ecuador and Colombia, I did not need this particular item necessarily because they use like the standard US plugs in Ecuador and Colombia, and I knew that in advance. The main reason I brought this particular adapter is because of the USB plug on the side. It just makes it so much easier for me to charge my phone. I can just plug the USB in here, plug that into the wall, and my phone is being charged. Without this, I would have to plug in my computer to the wall and then plug my phone into the computer. So that it just adds one more step, and this makes that easier. Anyways, and obviously like on other international trips in Europe or Asia or Africa or something like that, this comes in handy too. So, and then I have my charger for this particular, the DSLR batteries, and this plug, there's a cable that goes out of here that you need in order to charge this. Well, it happens to be the same cable that's on my drone charger. So instead of carrying 2 of those cables, I only brought 1 on the trip, and I would just switch that cable from the drone charger to this charger whenever I needed it. And then I have one more charger in here, and this is the charger for my smaller point and shoot camera batteries. So all of that stuff went inside the backpack, inside of this rear pannier. And let me just push this out of the way. And then finally there's a smaller pocket here on the back of the pannier, or on the outside of the pannier, where I was carrying a bunch of bike tools. I had spare brake pads. I never used these on the trip. I carried a small bit of electrical tape here, about a half roll of electrical tape. Didn't need this. This I use quite frequently. This is my bike pump. And yeah, it's small, lightweight, works well. And finally, there is my front bike light. This is a Nog flashing, I don't know, front bike light. Had it for years, it's a good one. But I never actually used it. Just like the rear light, never actually used it. So here is everything that I brought with me on my 2016-2017 bike tour in South America that I thought I would use, but either didn't use or only used 1 or 2 times. My rain pants, my black off-the-bike pants, my pant leg protector, electrical tape, a long sleeve jersey, spare brake pads, a rear bike light, front bike light, a pack towel for showering to dry yourself off, a pen, a small lightweight journal, a mini lighter, a 10mm wrench, and my bike lock and key. Now, just because I didn't use these particular items doesn't mean I wouldn't pack them again in the future. Every bike tour is different, and The place that you travel oftentimes dictates the items that you choose to carry and whether or not you happen to use them. Now, it was raining a lot in South America, and there, under maybe normal weather conditions, there would have been a circumstance in which I would have worn my rain pants. But because it was so hot, even when it was raining, there really was no need to wear the pants. I just let my shorts get wet, and it was kind of nice, frankly. So I didn't need these. If I were going to South America again, however, would I bring these? I probably would, to be honest, just in case. The long sleeve jersey, would I bring that to South America again? Probably not. I would opt for a short sleeve jersey, so I'll kick that out of here. Pants, I spend a lot of time off of my bike just interacting with the locals, and even though I only wore these pants maybe a couple times on the whole trip, I think I would still bring them again. The pant leg protector, I would definitely get rid of this, didn't need it. The half roll of electrical tape, the fact that I carried this and never used it is not a big deal. I would definitely pack this again. It's one of these things that if you need it, it's nice to have. Spare brakes pads, I would definitely bring these again as well, even though I didn't use them. The lights, also, never used them, but I would bring them again just in case. I never used them because I was never riding at night. But there have been tours I've done in the past where I get stuck out after night, or I have to go through a long tunnel or something, and the bike lights do come in handy. When I'm camping a lot, I also use these lights in my tent at night as well. On this particular trip, however, I never use them in that way. The pen and the journal I'd bring on a future trip for sure. It's always nice to have something to write with. You meet someone on the road and you want to write down their name and email address, so I would definitely bring that. And I also use the journal to write down ideas and things like that. It doesn't weigh very much. The mini lighter, because I'm not traveling with a stove on this particular trip, I really only used this lighter 1 or 2 times when I was staying in an apartment and they didn't have matches or a lighter for me to start the stove with. So I had it, which was nice in those 2 instances maybe. The rest of the time, didn't need it. And then this wrench, like I mentioned, there's only 1 nut on my whole bike that I need to use this for, and this thing is pretty heavy actually. So if I could find a smaller, lighter 10mm wrench that I could use to carry on my future bike tours, that would be great. And then finally the lock. I mean, I only used this maybe 2 times on the whole trip, but again, like, it's one of those things that you're thankful to have when you need it. And even though it is pretty big and pretty heavy, I think I would bring this pretty much on any trip that I did in the future. So let's put everything back on my bike now and you'll see how it all goes. So here's how everything goes back on the bike. I put the tripod on the rear rack here. Handlebar bag. Oops. 2 rear panniers go on. Then the 2 front panniers. And then the helmet. Alright, so that's it. That's everything I packed on my 2016-2017 bike tour in Ecuador and Colombia in South America. To see the full packing list, click the link below this video, and if you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'm Darren Alf from BicycleTouringPro.com, and I hope to see you out on the road sometime soon.